Hi, I'm Kev. Join me in this video as we take the Sealand Air Plus RC model and see how it flies from the water. This is the Sealand Air Plus RC model. Thanks to Jiang and his team for sending it along for review. This is fast becoming one of my favorite RC model aircraft. I did a previous video. I'll show the link here. It'll be in the description of the unboxing, putting it together. It's super easy. You glue on the two wing panels and the ailerons in place, and that's really about it. Everything comes installed. It has its own transmitter here, so the receiver, everything is put in place. It is a 4-channel model with very capable elevators, a large rudder for steering, ailerons, and the throttle through the ESC. Tons of room in here for any type of battery. It uses a 3-cell battery. So as you saw in the previous video, and we'll take a look at it now, this airplane has no landing gear. Okay, it's just got these very tough plastic skids on it. So it's designed just to scoot along on the ground to take off and land. And it does a very good job on the land doing that. So it's a lot of fun to fly. Also, it is made out of styrofoam, so by definition, it'll float pretty well. And that's what we'll do here in a moment, just to see how it behaves on the water. Now notice that it does not have a water rudder, which most seaplanes do. I don't think one is needed because we have a very large rudder here. It'll turn it on the water, but it'll have to have some airflow on it. And then I know from the land experience, the elevators are very effective, the ailerons are very effective. It's just a good flying airplane. So let's put it on the water, do a few taxi tests to see how it steers, and then just see how it flies off the water. If you'd like to purchase this, there is a link in the description so you can get it there. Please take a look at that.
This is the entire 2-minute first flight I had on water of the Sealand airplane. There's no cuts, and so I'm just kind of seeing how it taxis on the rudder. As I mentioned, there's no water rudder. You just use the existing rudder there to turn it, and it's really plenty of throw and movement and control with the prop blaster right over it. It's a fairly small lake to fly in, so I'm just kind of feeling my way around the airspace here, doing turns left and right. The plane flies very well. Like I mentioned, it's one of my favorite airplanes, quite maneuverable. So now I'm circling in, and what's happened is you got to be careful of this airplane because you can get slow, and it throws you off a little bit because you have controls through the prop blast over the elevators and the rudder. So just make sure that you pay attention to your airspeed. The wings create a lot of lift. They'll pick up really quick, but just keep your airspeed up. So just some turns here. Remember, as a foam aircraft, you don't have to worry about it tipping over when you land on the water. It's a very steady airplane, good aileron control. You can see we're doing a little bit of taxiing here. See how tight the turns are with that rudder. And just take off again. Just a lot of fun to fly it. I think you'll enjoy it. I just highly recommend this both as a sport flyer at the field and just for some fun on water landings.
Yeah.
So we just came back from flying off the water, and I could not be any more satisfied with how this handled. It flies obviously like it did taking off of the land. There's tons of power with the 3-cell battery. to take it off from the water. When you turn, this is a fairly small-ish pond, but what will happen is use the ailerons to bank. Don't be afraid to use the rudder for a coordinated turn. Rudder and aileron, that's how we're supposed to turn. And it turns pretty quickly. It landed well. It was just a very fun flying on the water, no complaints at all. But I do just want to talk for a second about some aerodynamic lessons learned on this aircraft. First of all, when we fly our airplanes, the wings need to produce lift to fly. What will happen is we typically have a propeller at the front of the airplane. The blast from the prop wash does provide a surprising amount of lift early on, especially for our lighter models that help them take off quicker, less distance, at a slower airspeed due to the prop wash. We don't have any prop wash over the wing due to the propellers. This is the situation faced with an electric ducted fan. For an EDF to fly, it has to see the relative airflow over the wing. There is no prop blast to help it at all. That's why your jets typically will take a little bit longer to take off, because they've got to generate all the airspeed from their movement through the air. The difference with this airplane is, with this propeller here, you have an extremely powerful blast of air that go over your control surfaces, in particular the elevator and the rudder, which makes it very effective, almost at a zero airspeed in this airplane. So you got to be a little bit careful, because similarly with a jet or an EDF, you don't have any prop wash over the control surfaces. You do here. This is such a honest airplane. It can slow down for airspeed a little bit, but you still can maintain nose positioning through the prop wash over the tails, which can throw you off because you think you're flying, but it's really the prop blast on the controls. So keep that in mind if it looks like it's stalling a little bit, even though you can pitch up and down or turn left or right, move forward, build up your airspeed, and you can fly from there. But once you incorporate that into your flying with this thing, it makes it a lot of fun, because you can really fly fairly slow, lower the nose, build up some airspeed, and you're up and flying again. The other thing that I like about this, I was concerned originally with this motor there might be some down pitching with different power settings, because it's above the center line of the aircraft. For whatever reason, that doesn't seem to be the case. My guess is the prop blast over the rudder makes that fairly effective, and it tends to neutralize the pitching of this. The final thing I want to say about this is the foam is great for the water. The foam flies well. You don't have to worry about it getting waterlogged. However, water splashes in a bunch of areas. It's just the nature of flying with full-scale or model airplanes. I think next time I may tape this over here, because water is going to get inside there. Water is probably going to get in the servo. It may get into the motor. Just be aware that if something funny is happening with it, it might be some water in it. Fresh water is usually not a problem. You can let it dry out. It should be okay. I would recommend not using this with any saltwater environment. It's going to be very corrosive. I just don't think the model is going to do well. So that being said, very nice addition to your RC flying fleet. Fun on the land, fun on the water. Good luck if you decide to buy one. There is a purchase link in the description.